All right. So we're live. So what I'm just sort of hacking away at, or actually we're letting the AI do the hacking away, is building sort of a project management system. Sort of like if you think like if you've ever used like Jira, ClickUp, those types of platforms. The idea I'm trying to pursue is the AI version of those. And of course, when you sit there and you think, okay, an AI version, well, that I mean, it still means that the pages are still available in case you want to manually go to them. But the thing I'm trying to mock up here, because all we're seeing here is front end. We're not. I don't have this thing set up at all to do any back end yet, but I do have Claude Code in the background in case I choose to do that. Because with Claude Code, I could swarm this and basically start hacking away on the back end while I have another one working on the front end. So, which is sort of cool. Do we have anybody? No connections yet. Okay, well, we'll still keep checking. But we'll close this. But it's sort of like it built this mockup in, gosh, fucking 10 seconds. Like all these views, because like I have a tickets page, which it did. Oh wait, it's mockups dot tickets. So you still got some padding, some to have it address, but it sort of gives you an idea. I have it where you can do a card, so you can like drag and drop them, do all that stuff. So we'll have to button that up eventually, but that's not the goal here. The goal here is to start working on mockups because people are still going to expect things to be certain ways, right? For the non sort of AI user. But I think if you want to have victory, you need to have a way for them to use the whole application, but from one screen, and you can basically do anything. And so what I sort of discovered is when I had it do some of these updates was, oh, it's also keeping track of that. Okay, interesting. Even though it doesn't have it buttoned up, I need to have it fix that button. But is that I can be like, click on this thing and says, show me the priority tickets for front end development. It'll do that, and then it's going to pop up this this modal, and then you could see what's going on, and then maybe you could open the board to go directly to that, which I think is just freaking cool. Which I have to refresh to get this thing to pop up again. But if I say create a new task for implementing authentication, so okay, it doesn't do one for that yet, but I can have it do it. Summarize the progress of the marketing campaign. Oh, come on, y'all. That's fucking cool. And so you would have access to all of that information. Okay, so what I want to have it do now is for so I've created a new task. So so we're gonna be like, I see you have a like a call it on the page. What if after it creates it, it shows it in a modal, which you can further edit the ticket. So we're gonna sort of let it do that. Okay, so we have one person here. So if you're here, I encourage you to put something in the chat because I got so many windows open. You can't see them all. But credit balance is already low. I already gave you $5. Add funds. Okay. Okay. Uh, so this is going to be how they weasel the money out of you. Uh, how do I do that? What's the link to add funds? Okay. The context left to autocomplete 5%. So what was it? Console. So yeah, I already burned through $5. Well, let's buy some more credits. Let's just buy 25 just to so we can do some stuff here. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, it's getting a shit ton of work done, so I can't really. I'm not really going to complain too much about it. All right, so try again. Okay, so it's already in sync. Awesome. All right, so we're going to say 1. Show the ticket edit modal. We have to wait for it to finish doing its thing. And we're going to say 1 again. But see, this is like the whole thing about when you use any sort of these sort of tools is that, you know, if you think if you're spending let's just call it $25 a day, like you would be giving AI more money than you do for a freaking car note. And that's the part about it that's a tough pill to swallow because, don't get me wrong, I'm fucking impressed with just how much stuff it has gotten done. Like that is not an issue. All right, so get caught back up here. So we're going to, yes, make the edit to the dashboard because what we're trying to have it do is, and we're going to sort of wait, it's supposed to be that if you say click create a new task, that it would do this part, but it was supposed to pop up a modal. And it did not do that, even though you see the code here to pull it off. So I've implemented it after AI creates a new the modal. I don't see the modal. We're going to refresh just in case. No. So there's something somewhere that's not working. And see, these are the parts where you feel like you're not getting your money's worth is when you have to paste a bunch of stuff in here to let it know that it's not, that it didn't work. But we'll let it do its thing. And I'll just have to check my status on my phone. But the thing is that, you know, that's eventually going to be some sort of token cost to fix what it didn't get right the first time. And like I said, this is where you feel like you get a little bit robbed because you would hope that the AI would get it so well that there wouldn't be a cost to fix its mistake. And that's always going to be the frustrating piece about AI is that you I don't know. And see, like now it's having to read all those lines, you know, put all that into a context window. That's going to take up more tokens. But simmering, interesting. We'll let it finish simmering. And then we're going to try it again here in a second. But I want to make sure that when you click this one, when it says like a suggested prompt, that it's going to sort of do what we want it to do. Now we'll probably have to make it to where whenever you say to create a task that it doesn't just create it and then do the modal where it gives you the modal. But maybe you could say create a task and maybe you could summarize what you want and maybe you could pre-fill out the form. Because that's like the thing is to try to get this to where it is smooth, it's intuitive, you know, those sort of things. And if we have anybody in the chat, I encourage you to say hello, let's talk. That way it's just not me talking to myself. All right, still simmering. 65 seconds. Ugh. And the thing is that I'm only using Claude code. I don't have an IDE open any such place, right? So I'm basically relying entirely on the AI to do what we want to do. But you can't necessarily see what this is sort of what we're waiting on. Because it's simmering. 100 seconds. Come on. But the thing is, this is like the thing though, is that it might go away for 100 seconds, but then when it comes back, you're like, what the world? And that's when you get like blown away. Because to show you sort of what it's done already. So we're gonna say mockups. So it's built a boards. Oh wait, it's probably because it's okay. So you have a boards mockup, then you have a board singular that you could have for. Yeah, it's having to fix something. We'll have to wait for it to fix it. Because if I refresh that, it's probably not. Yeah. So it has to fix these issues. Yes. Come on, I'm trying to show off the pages, people. Or Claude. Oh, cannot find module app. So what? You can't find it. Oh, don't go down this road. Please don't go down this road. Hold up. I just want to see. Okay, so it's going crazy about something. How about we do this? We'll rebuild. I just want to see if we get anything wrong on the build. Okay, so the stuff's back. So then if you say ticket, you get an individual mockup for a ticket. Then there's a singular board. So that one's got to have a little bit of work on, but as you see, you can drag drop it, built all of that. But let's get back to this dashboard view. So let's see what it did. If I say create a new task, there's the modal we wanted. Interesting. Okay. And I wish there was a way to make it sort of reset without having to. Oh, and this thing I got to keep up on the chat, so we're just gonna sort of maybe move this over here to where you can see what's kind of going on. So I'm gonna refresh. I think it's showing me the priority tickets on the front end development board, and then like boom. So like what's some other things? It's like because like if you manage projects, like the main thing is where you don't drop the ball. Like meaning something doesn't slip through the cracks, you don't get an update. Because it originally, so I can say if you so it cleared out those notifications. Okay. I wonder how it's doing that. We got a couple people in here. Say hi in the chat, please, because oh, so there it is. So it does a little timed thing. So you can say task status updated, and so the idea is that as things happen, see there's a new comment. Oh, that's so cool. It knows how to randomize that. That is crazy. So this is sort of like when you start thinking about the experience. The experience is how do you cut out all the noise to where the human that's going to use it can use it and use it efficiently, right? I wonder if we should start having this thing do some modeling on the back end. We could. So run git init. Check out a branch. Check out a branch. V did it do yeah, version 0.1. We're gonna say no to that one. Let it run that. So this doesn't necessarily show you me toggling between. Okay, how can I make it do that? Terminal. show window with empty names. So if I, see, that's the thing, it just doesn't, it only shows that one. Interesting. Okay, so this is sort of, like I said, where you get to thinking about the experience. Because if I'm a PM and I come in, I want to know what the hell's going on. And there might need to be ways to offer filters to show, maybe there's a way that maybe they could build their own UI. Let's experiment with this. Why is it? Yeah, I know I did. I got it. Okay, you just had to hit enter to make that clear out. Okay, so I'm just thinking. Forgive me. Uh, what if on the dashboard we allow them to build out their dashboard so they only see the information they want? I just want to see what this sucker's gonna do. Run that. Got anybody in here? Only one person. No updates on Twitter. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to work on trying to get, so I was pondering about doing Prism. Oh, he changed up the colors. TJ, what are you doing, buddy? Cool though. So let that run. I just think that's so cool how it knows how to do that. Okay, so it's working on a custom dashboard thing. Because you see this icon right here? It's going to focus on that. Because I think that if you're a project manager, you know, who knows how many of you there are in your company, who knows what you're managing, but I think it would be cool if you could build your own dashboard, kind of like a start page, really, right, of the modules that are available for you to manage what you're doing. But you're always going to have the AI thing. I want you to have the AI, but it's going to be interesting to see maybe what this thing comes up with. And I'm kind of curious as to the experience it's going to give us. Just checking stuff on my phone. Okay, nothing else really going on. Come on, it's still building. Still building, still building. God, 4,000 tokens? Jesus Christ. Are you serious? And see, this is, so you see how many tokens it's going through? Nearly 3,000 tokens. And I'm telling you what it's having to do. It's probably reading the entire file at a time. And so this is where I'm telling you, like, this might be cool, but this is going to get expensive because if, if every time that they have to do something, they're reading the whole file, because I'm telling you, they're likely reading the whole file when they make these changes. But I could be wrong. And you see how that's not working? See, it says that it made an available widgets array. So it didn't do it. So now I have to go paste a bunch of lines in here. And so now you're going to see the token count. And then you're going to see the token count probably go through another freaking 7,000 maybe. Yeah, it's just going to keep going and going and going and going and going. Still got the error on the page. But see this. But if you could see, this is going to be the frustrating piece: is that if the AI gets it wrong, you're going to spend tokens for it to fix its own mistake. Okay, we're just stepping through all those updates. Ooh, okay, we got a little bit something different, but it's still doing something because I see we got some layout stuff that's probably still working its way through. But here we go again. Look at that. You know, like how we went through that $5 really fast. We're gonna end up doing that again. We're just gonna say 2. I don't want to have to keep hitting that damn button. Marinating. All right, so look at that, people. Look at that. Look at that. So it built components that you could then check to the dashboard. So if I say, okay, so they didn't really button it up. They just gave you a list. Okay, well, that's fine. Oh, well, there's my task. So if I go in here and I uncheck my task and we close this, okay, it's gone. Okay, so it is buttoned up. They just don't have the submit thing. So if we were to uncheck all of these, and you see it in the background, you might be able to see it sort of auto updating. So you could be like, hey, I want, quick actions. What's a quick action? Add board, create task, generate report, invite team. Let's see what project milestones are. Look at that. So fucking cool. 2 columns. Oh, you can go for a 3 column. Oh, and so then I see you got an order, so you could tell it what order to put them in. So we're just gonna select everything. Because why not? It's a lot of stuff. And so we would have to end up kind of guiding it about how to negotiate the widths of these sections, because as you see, they sort of freaking either take up half the column, but eventually you would have to have it to where you could, so let's do time tracking. We want that to be number 2. I see it. Oh wait, I want it next to task overview. Oh, so this is going to be the thing. So, and like I said, these are just mockups that it's creating. But if we say time tracking and I take those others out, task overview, time tracking, and then you see we get little notifications as we're doing it. But see, when I think about UI or UX, of course, don't get me wrong, I'm not a designer. But I would think that if you had something come in, that it shouldn't necessarily be right there. I think it should be in the context of the AI system, because you want the AI to be telling you. I mean, I get why you would put it there, because that's typically what you see in UX, right? But, oh, and I want to make it back to a 3 column. Okay. My phone keeps buzzing. That's so fucking cool. I need to be able to clear it out, though. I'm going to see this mobile again, just see what it's doing. Interesting, interesting. Too fucking cool. What's going on Twitter? How many people we got here? We got a couple of people, but nobody's chatting. I need y'all to chat with me. That way I'm not talking to myself like a crazy person. How can I want to see how much money I've spent. So we started at $24.86. Look at that. We've already spent $2. Come the fuck on. See, that's the thing. You're going to be blowing through freaking tokens. So while you probably can't see it, I've switched tabs because I have Claude code in another. Trying to think here, what do I want to do next? I'm not sure if I wonder if we should do a different layout because, I mean, I understand we have the sidebar, but hold on, we're going to say, I notice that some of the, what did they refer to? Some of the widgets. Let's see. I don't want to get caught up in that just yet. I could end up wasting tokens left and right. Let's start getting some data. We need to create models for the boards, tasks, etc. I'm going to tell it etc. just to let it have some freedom. And why it doesn't show you the active tab, I don't know. So what if I say window capture? Is there a terminal capture by chance? Display capture, window capture. We're just gonna say window capture. We're gonna add another, we're gonna call it Claude Backend. Add a source, terminal. Okay, sweet. So we're gonna put this one, gonna minimize it, because I want you to be able to see that I got two things sort of going at the same time. Say yes. I have the backend being developed. Let's get these mockups into their official routes and placements. Then we'll begin buttoning them up with the back end. So we're going to let it do that. So this thing, I'm just going to tell it to run it. We're just going to sort of just let it go do its thing. So we got that going on. Got this going on. And we're going to start blowing through tokens. All right, so yes. Even though this was supposed to be the front end, we'll just toggle task. So it's going to give it a foreign ID user, name, a description, status. That's fine for now. It's working on controllers. Just going to tell it to keep doing its thing. We'll see how far we can get with this, with the $25 that we put in. So far, so good. It's building that. It's a reference to making the relationships. All right, what do we got here? Yes, we want to make. Yep, I want you to do everything. Because the thing I'll probably do is let this thing write the code. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll throw it up on GitHub so we can see what the code quality is and then share that just for the world to see. Because people need to see like what this is doing, because I don't have an IDE open. I mean, Claude code is driving everything. So, gosh, 2,500 tokens so far. How's about this one? We're at 40. Yep, seeded. And to think that you could have literally unlimited number of these running at the same time. That's crazy to me. Because like you could technically have one that's then writing the test to support it. Proceed. Yeah, don't ask. Quit asking. Let's fix the Cedar file so you see how it sort of knows that it needs to do some stuff here, which I'm not sure about the approach, but like I said, we'll probably end up just throwing this on the web just to let people see. And then you know what? We're going to open a third one. You're going to think I'm crazy. Like, Jordan, you're going to blow through money. A window capture. We're going to do a third one. We're going to call this TDD. We're going to add this. We're going to call it terminal. All right. So now we're going to have one going for, whoop, get back there. Now we're going to have one going for, I need to get the, sorry, little OCD's kicking in. I got to have these all at the same height or it's going to drive me crazy. Get in there to lock. There we go. All right, so we have, and we need to do Claude code PM. Yes, oh, enter. Begin writing pest PHP test for the controllers we're creating. So we're going to send that off on its way. So this thing's doing its thing. Why do you need access? Yes. All right, so we got that doing that. We have this one creating models. We have this one writing tests. Does it tell me how many tokens I've used so far? We're going to go to app, sign up. I still think that's so fucking cool. And you know what, since we're sort of in the midst of this, I am getting curious. So if I do windsurf PM, I'm going to open this up in windsurf. Because if it's going to be writing the test, I'm just naturally curious. Okay, so there's not been a test yet. Finding version is used in this project. We're listening to the files, anything to identify pattern controllers. Begin around. Okay, so it's in the process. And seeded, so we have seeded. So if I do, is this one done? Nope, it's structuring. In the sidebar, add the links for the pages we've created. So we're gonna be jumping back and forth. I don't see any. It says testing, but okay, it's only 109 tokens, so it hasn't done much. Okay, so you see how I told it to add the navigation. So now we have the boards, Okay, so it broke on tasks, but that's probably because the task endpoint hasn't been moved. But we have a dashboard. We have dashboard. We got boards, plural. We got to figure out why that one isn't working. That's going. That's linking. Okay, so it's working on the page. Out of curiosity, how much money have we spent now? Oh gosh, you spent $4 more. Jesus Christ, we're gonna blow through 25 bucks. That's doing stuff. That's doing stuff. That's doing. So we're sort of locked out for a moment. It's all right. What a crazy thought it would be, and tell me if this is a wild thought. What if we turn this into a Vive coded open source project? How crazy would that be if we could get that to pick up? I don't see, I see auth. I don't see, why do I not see test yet? Okay, so tasks. Task is still not there yet. So it's creating stuff. Boards, tasks with functionality. But I don't. Yes. Yeah, go ahead and create pages. So it's looking for tickets index. So let me go pull up routes, the web routes. I guess I could make it to where you could see windsurf, but we would have to do a, what would this be? Surf. So then if I say window capture, windsurf, there we go. So then I'll turn this on and off from time to time, but I want you to see what I'm seeing. Okay, so let me make this bigger. There we go. So these are the routes that it's created so far. So tickets, so let's check the status, positioning. That one's done. This one still says testing, but I begin writing for the controller to find information. I don't. We're gonna break out of this. For the tickets, for the ticket routes in web PHP. All right, we're going to hopefully send it off to go do that. And my computer's starting to bog down. How many people are in here? We got 3 people. And I still don't see anybody chatting in the chat. Come on, people. Come talk to me. Oh. Oh. Control again. Control. No. Press Control C again. I am. You know what? I don't want to have to close this out and re-add it. It's driving me crazy. We're going to turn that off. Or that one off. Okay, so we still got that issue. Okay, so We're going to go back to Claude Code. Yeah. For ticket-related routes in web PHP. Send that off. Okay, so we need to figure out oh, so it's going to be doing an API related route. Oh, it's about to get fancy. Don't ask me anything else about this. So why is this one failing? So if I refresh and I go to tasks, there's not a tasks route, which is why it 404s. So do we have tasks? No. That's okay. Positioning. Yep, just start writing the code. So it's writing the test. So let's see here. So these are pest tests. Unauthenticated users cannot access the ticket routes, which technically the approach isn't all that bad. And I guess it helps if I do this to where you can see what I'm saying. So you see, where is it? So if I go back to this, can we blow it up a little bit so y'all can see it? So now it is writing the pest PHP test, right? Which, like don't get me wrong, it's not what they have is not technically wrong. However, you could shorthand this if you were to pass data sets into this. But I could ask it to do that. I need to do you know about Prism PHP? We're going to ask this thing a question because I want to know if I have to build it to give it. GitHub. Now see, I don't think it's that. So Prism PHP and TJ your colors. So I'm going to say here's the repo. To fetch this content. Yes, go fetch that content, which this is sort of cool. So it's going to go out and try to obtain the information because what I want it to do is to go look for it. And as you notice, there's not install instruction because TJ has a dedicated website, but we'll let it see what it does there. So it's working on that. It's doing that. But back to this topic is in terms of code, you typically would want to do this as a data set. Okay, what's it doing? So we have those. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got. Tickets. Authenticated user can view the tickets. So acting as the user. It has the user in the before each. That's fine. Authenticated users can view ticket created form. Ticket users can store a new ticket. And as you see, so far, it's not bad. And this is one of the things is that often you'll hear people say that the code that the AI writes is shit, and it's not. This code is very basic. Nothing really out of the blue outside of this whole data set thing. Maybe do I see anything that to be any bit concerned about? So it's still generating those. Which let's see the status. Did it go to Prism? So, okay, so I'm going to help it out here just for the sake of saving tokens. Here's their docs. So it's already making updates to the test, or it's adding more tests $8,400 fucking tokens. What is that? Okay, so it's 1886. Hold on. Let me get this. So remember, we were at 1886, the last refresh. Let's see what we're at now. Jesus, 16. So we've already burned through $2 more. See how far we can get. Yes. Get tired of it asking because I'll tell it for this session, but I guess the session is sort of like a micro context, if you will. All right, so tester. Okay, so now I can tell it to do so for, and now create test for the board related endpoints. Oh, let's see what we got here, people. So, okay, so check out the repository. Yep. Oh, TJ. Text generation, how to help the project. Since you're building a project, you could potentially use Prism to generate AI task summaries, descriptions, generate naturally. Yep. I want to do all of that. All of it. Yep. Yes, that would be awesome. If I can type. All right, where are we at with this? 36,000 tokens for the tickets index page. Holy smokes. This is going to be wild, I bet y'all. 36,000 tokens. How are we doing on the stream? We got 4 people. Still nobody chatting. Come on, people. Chat with me. 30, 36,004 tokens. LOL. If I got to get this chat going, I will. But this is going to be interesting because yep, get that going. All the tests are now passing. So let's see here. So we're going to flip this back to where you can see Windsurf. We're looking at the board test. So, of course, they did the same sort of thing. Like I said, we'll eventually convert that to a data set. But then we're sort of back to the basics. You know, can an authenticated person see it? Yes. Can it store it? Can they, so it's not bad. It's not bad code. I am not going to complain. And out of my own curiosity, I just want to see what one of these pages looks like. Okay, we won't do tickets. Let's do boards. Check out this Vue.js code. So it's got the breadcrumbs. It's got at least the boilerplate for data. Okay. Got some SVG icons. Not bad at all. So we'll probably give them some more tests to write here in a second. We're going to let that do its thing. We're at 43,000 tokens. Oh, yes. For me, yes. I think one of the bigger things about Cursor, I think, is that you just pay a certain rate a month, and then it's like unlimited. Whereas like Windsurf, you have these different tiers. Now with Windsurf, they are sunsetting the ultimate plan, which is the one I was on, which was $60 fucking a month. But they're supposed to be coming out with a new pricing or something in 2 days. They said it would be the 21st when they roll it out. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what that's going to be because I spent a little bit of money on AI a month. Yes, keep doing stuff. Still, we're at 43,000 tokens. But yeah, no, I've used Cursor before, but what was the Cursor is like I had a hard time with themes or something. Like there was something about it that was just difficult. Now there's people that do use Cursor, but I do see a lot of people complaining that that I don't know. I guess it starts to fall apart at some point. Don't get me wrong, Windsurf can as well, but for me, the user experience of Windsurf uh, feels better. Okay, so does this mean that we should have tickets? Okay, so we're going to have it address some spacing, but refresh status 404. That's because it's trying to do an API call to tickets, which I believe the API endpoints. No, there's get API tickets. It's saying a 404, but that's going to be because Sanctum, if you're doing auth Sanctum, that you have to have the bearer token to be generated. But if I do like tickets 1, okay, so there's the individual ticket view. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of stuff here that we're going to have to eventually button up. AI suggestions, dependency alerts, time estimates. Let's get back to what we got here. So 44,000 tokens. Jeez. Yes. Boards, dashboard. Oh, they're even doing a dashboard summary. Interesting. Still don't have tasks though. And that was one of the things that this thing was, it appeared to be trying to tackle was tasks. Because you have tickets. Let's see here. There's no views for tasks, but maybe that's probably something not to worry about. So let me get out of Cursor or Windsurf. I mean, I got Cursor on the brain now that it's been mentioned. What's the status of our expenses? We were at 16 even. We're now at 13.55. I'm telling you, you're gonna burn through like. You're just gonna burn through it. All right, so this one's done. Okay. That one's still... Okay, so this one's tackling the whole tickets thing. Okay, so now it's updating the route web PHP, which if I turn back on Windsurf, we should see that. Ooh, AI assistant for the tickets. Oh, this is gonna do some fancy stuff. So if I go here and I say AI assist 404. What did I? Oh wait, it's a post call. Never mind. So that means that if you're on the tickets view, okay, so you can do that. So we got that rocking. I don't know what the purpose of that one's going to be. Do we have any more things? Nope, still the same number of those. But what do y'all think so far? Like, we got literally Claude running in 3 different things. Ticket assistant. So let's I want to go look at this whole ticket assistant thing that it talked about. So if I say ticket controller, okay, so AI assist. Okay, so you do a post call to this, title description. Ooh, then it would go to the AI service to enhance the description. So this then means that there is a service. So there's services, AI assistant service. Let's check this out. So generate board insights. So the board task, it would go get the tasks of the board. It puts them into a structure. The prompt, you are an AI project management assistant. Analyze the following board data and provide 3 insightful observations and actionable recommendations to help the team be more productive. They give you a board, they give you a description, the tasks, and then they go into the prompt. So they loop through those. They're going to push those into the prompt. So they're building essentially out that context window. Provide the insights, first insight about the project status and distribution. Keep your responses concise and focused on helping the team improve their productivity, project success, and then it goes into Prism. It's going to use the haiku model of Anthropic. If it can't do that, so it's already got error handling, so it knows how to suggest a priority. Y'all check this. This is wild. We need more. Y'all should be more blown away by this. So then you can enhance the description. Now, of course, when you tell AI to be 2 or 4 sentences, note you may not get yardage out of that. You may not. Because AI sometimes just hasn't been good with numbers. Okay, so we're sort of at a resting state. We were at 1355 before. We're now at 1262. Import index. We use components, services, complete. Okay, so let's go back to this. So you use professional language. Provide only description text and additional commentary. You are an AI project management system. You have more detailed than clear. So it's going to do a lot of extra stuff in the process of creating a ticket, because it's, at least for the description. So if you give a title and description, and you ask it, what type of assistance do I want? Do I want a description assistant? It would then just do that specific one. So you could basically say, write this, write that, and it would. For the most part, it's got the validation. They even, look at this, they got the max on the string lengths at 255 characters. That's so far so good. They got the exist check. So in terms of code, this is not bad, people. This, not bad at all. Not bad at all. So that was tickets. I want to go look at board. I want to see what's there. Board index. So here they know how to, it understands that it's going to resolve this out of the container. So you can say AI assistant, generate, there's the board insights when we saw a second ago, generate insight for the boards, has task, and you got board show, create boards, create, store, same thing. It's going to create the board. So eventually we'll have to give it maybe policies to sort of drive what it can sort of do. The other thing is that if you have tickets, and see, it's talking about that 404 there. So it would be fetching something right now. So how about we do this? Because we're using Sanctum. Oh, and I wanted to see if I say, is it actually trying to give it a bearer token? Oh wait, can y'all see this? No, of course you can't, because I have to turn on the ability. So in terms of the headers, there's not. Okay, so given we use Sanctum, when the user begins their session, we need to generate a token for them. So generate a token, which is used as a bearer token, so they can work with the API. So let's go give it that. And so I'm curious about the code it's going to write, because the way it's going to need to do it is essentially when you log in, that's going to be the trigger to produce the token. And the reason we have to do this is because, and I'm going to flip back on WinServe, I just need to, because in the API, you see here they have is auth sanctum. That means you have to have a bearer token. The bearer token is generated from your session, and it identifies you as the user, so that the API would then technically only scope the data to be to you. Of course, they just have templating in here. They don't actually have it coming from a database just yet. Do they have anything that's going to be doing that? So eventually we'll find ourselves there, because all this stuff is just boilerplate technically right now. 201 tokens, so it's going to run, so it ran the migration, so it knows to generate the personal access tokens. The auth controller, it's going to be adding code to produce a token. So we go back here, and we'll eventually have to have it wrap all of these. That way you don't have these separate middleware groups, or groups that are using the same middleware. So that's going on, that's going on. What else should we have it do? What else? Who's all in our chat? We had 5 people at one point. Okay, so let's update the app view file to initialize the API token when the app loads. Oh, interesting. So app view. Where's this app view that it's talking about? Oh, app TS. Import meta, invite client. There's the auth service that it's creating. And then they're going to tie this down here on line 40, timeout. So they're going to be pushing stuff into the metadata, or to the meta tags, to say if we are authenticated or not. They know they're going to use it as local storage, so that way it will be bound basically to your session. So if I were to go, say, log out now, I just want to make sure that it actually finished what it was going to do. And look at that. The dashboard file is 25,000. So I wonder if it knows that it needs to chunk it. But we're going to go log in. And so if I go to tickets, hopefully, nope, we're still getting a 404. So I don't think it's gotten, did it get to the, oh wait, was there tickets on the API, or am I just missing? No, API tickets. 404 not found. Okay, so then we need to make sure that we have a bearer token, and which there's a cookie, there's XRF token, but there is no bearer token. So let's see what this thing's going to do. Yeah, we'll let it do it. And I want to get back to this file because it generates it there. Let's see. Oh wait, am I still showing this? Yes. So if we were to search, I would be curious as to what's going on here. So there's where it's getting it. And you see here, like, this is supposed to do an interception of... Sorry, didn't mean to sneeze that loud. Yeah, it's still doing those. So I wonder if this is just because I need to log out and come back in. We'll see. Let's go look at this whole boards page. Oh wait, that's the mockup. This would probably be an index page likely. Yeah, boards index. query. Oh, so they have a service. Interesting. Okay, so they even need to. Okay, so boards. But where's API coming from? API is coming from Axios. But why is that not? Let's see something here. So it says authenticated true. And then that then means that there should be a local storage. Where is this local storage? And as you see, there's not a value there. So let's address that here in a second. Yeah, do that. What is the running total? Let me get out of Windsurf so y'all can see. So we were at 1262. Only spent $1. Only spent $1. So okay, so we need to talk about this. I see we're supposed to store the bearer token in local storage. However, when I log in, after I log in and look at calls to, the API, that V404 as I don't see the bearer token. So let it, and this is a thing, I was hoping to do a multi-line, but I did shift enter and it did that. So, but we should have a value here based on what it's saying. Yeah, there's nothing. Just get caught up on Reddit. Everything else you want to see, yes, quit asking me. I just want to let you do the job I'm giving you. And so, as far as you sort of see, you got to keep your head kind of wrapped around where this thing is, especially if you're doing multiple things. Because it's doing, and I probably don't want it to. Okay, import meta. So we got a little something going on. That's probably because this one's doing some stuff. Yeah. 2,000 tokens. Okay. So when you log into the web and automatically get a new. Okay, so let's test this out. So if I say log out, we go log in. Use my. All right, let's see what we get. I still don't see. Storage. I mean, that's where it's supposed to be. It's local storage, right? Still 404s. Install to manage, create it, auth controller, generate token. Is it maybe shared storage? Nope. How about this? If I just refresh. do we have bearer? Nope. I still don't see a bearer token. I also don't see it in local storage on the browser. And this is the thing, so you see how like it thinks it did it, but it didn't do it. It thinks it's done, but it's not. So, so now it's going to give us a debug. Searching. And I'm going to go ahead and log out. Clear that out. Application. We still don't have anything. It's still searching, but the other one said that it thinks that it did it. Okay, so we're letting it work its way through that little thing, because every time it's saving some, which is why you're seeing the flash. Maybe I can just click out of it until it's done. Attributes that our mass assignable has. So it just added the has API. So it added the has API token trait to the user class, which odds are, let's see here, do we have anything yet? Nope, still module broken. Is it? Yep, I know I spent $5 in that session. And given that it's doing like this, I'm gonna recompile v, whatever the fuck you call it. Okay, so we still have this persistent issue. Let's give it this problem to solve. See if we got any update. Okay, oh, what did I click? Okay, so developer tools. So, okay, so we're going to say generate token. Wait, did they put the generate token behind an auth? Hold up here. This will be funny if it did. So let's go to API. And then it was called generate. Token generate. Okay, so they just want you to be logged in. Okay. API token generate. So we're going to say clear token generate. It still says 404. So we're going to log out, log back in, and as you can imagine, you could have automation scripts to test this sort of part, maybe like Dusk or something. Okay, so status is no token. Do we have any updates going on in here? And I think part of the problem, well, hold up here. The route is there, and it's a give that thing a job to do. Still schmooshing, it says. these freaking words, man. How many people in the live? We got 6. Come on, people, chat with me. So we're still in windsurf. Let me turn off that view so you can kind of see what's going on. Still smooshing. The other one's writing tests. We're going to keep trying this thing until it gets it right. What's going on is that it's not generating a token. And so what the AI did is that it wrote some stuff to where it would have a test endpoint. And the way the API is written, so it says that we are in session. Okay, so API users, did they take that route out? Is there API user? No, there is one, but you got to have a token. Clear the token. Of course, when I click that, nothing's happening. And you see, like here, there's no key value pair. So we're going to have to send this thing back down the rabbit hole to figure out what is going on. So let's close that. We're going to do that. Clear out the network. Okay, so. Oh, and I wanted to see, just out of curiosity, because ticket should fail. We should see that 404, and we do. So. And this is going to be the interesting thing to see just how well the AI is going to try to navigate this problem, because what's going on is that first they want you to be in a session just as a browser, right? And then what it's supposed to be doing is generating a token which will be used as the bearer token to then authenticate within the API those specific routes. And so what's going on is the reason you see the 404s is because there's no bearer token. And so what this thing that it built is supposed to do as a tool is to let you do that. Well, it thinks that this endpoint doesn't exist, which, oh, and I see it's running it there too. It doesn't need to run it here. Let me go to terminal new route. So if I say PHP artisan route list, and then we say the path is API. We're looking for API user singular. What? Hold on, let me rerun Vite, because windsurf I had it set to where if you open windsurf, it would compile it, but that's not really how we want to do things. Okay, so there's still nothing there. User basic. Okay, so what are they doing here? So if I say PHP artisan route list path app users, your application does have any routes. Oh. Wait a second. Hold up. PHP artisan route list grep API. I wonder, we may have saved ourselves a bunch of work. I don't see API routes. See? And it's a good thing that I did that little check, because even though there is a API file in the routes folder, the application itself is not aware of it, which is part of the reason why that you keep getting these 404s. At least now you're getting 401s. So it went into the bootstrap file, the app.php bootstrap. It added that. So now we're getting 401. So odds are now, if we say fetch user data, we're probably going to get a call. Okay, so it's still a 401. So we're making some progress here. So it's adding stuff. So now if we run that, okay, so now we have API endpoints. So had it not been for me running that damn command, this thing would have been spinning its wheels about this whole endpoint thing. So I'm going to log out. We're going to come back in. Log in with my little test credentials. Okay, so we're getting some funny behavior here, sort of like it's getting 419. So wait a second, did it? Try this again. Is it just having an issue with? Okay, so out of my own curiosity, I'm not going to worry about this just yet. I am going to go to boards. And you see it's still, okay, so there's boards. So let's go to that network tab. We're going to go to if I go to boards, is there at least a bearer token? So we're still sort of stuck on this whole bearer token problem, which is part of the reason, because the endpoints exist, and the reason we know that they exist is the fact that you're getting a 401. Whereas before, they were getting 404s. So what I want to now see is if I go, so if I go to elements, head, authenticated, so we have that there. So the question then becomes, okay, so they took that logic out with credentials and cookie. So why it's still 404s though? So we're going to do this. We're going to just refresh the page. I'm going to tell it to fetch it. We're going to go let it know that it has a 401. I want this thing to solve its problem. So they have a server, so they have an auth TS file that they created. Okay, that's the one we were in. Token. But where's your bear token? Local storage. So we're still sort of in this whole local storage problem. But we're going to let this thing figure it out. Got 5 people. Hopefully I'm being entertaining and keeping you up to date with what we're trying to do here. Authenticating. Because it says local storage, which means if you say application local storage, there should be something there, and there's not. What's our money running at? We are at 11.55. We're down. Oh gosh, we've already gone through $10 more. Jesus Christ. Which means I'm gonna end up having to fix this stuff on my own. it's funny where it's trying to look too. Because that would mean since the beginning of the stream that we basically have spent $30 in tokens to do this. $30. And I think the other thing to consider is that it's been writing API test as well. Because if we were to switch back over to Windsurf and we were to go into our test. So yeah, we have test. So they have API. So they have an API auth. So it's writing the stuff that you would need. So ticket. Let's see here. So you should see some. Okay. So they're skipping the tests. So those would have to be updated. But as y'all know, there's a way that you can write the test for handling the sanctum. There's a faker that you can run. Oh, there it is. Sanctum acting as. But for the most part. So let's see what's going on. So still, we're at that many. And so I have a feeling that it thinks that it's put that data into local storage. I have a feeling that there's something in the logic where it's not, and I'll have to figure that out. But once we run out of money, we're going to end the stream. So we've got a little bit of time left. So, sure. Wait. No. We don't, no. Do something different. Authenticated check. See how it adds all this stuff that is doing these checks? So that would then be in this whole auth service. That's a login, generate token. Get sanctum CSRF cookie. See, I'm going to have to look and see what on earth this thing is doing. API token generate, credentials, local storage, response data substring. Where is it actually being placed in the storage? Token. So there's local storage. Okay, there's set item. Interesting. So they're trying to do it. Does that mean that, of course, we're making assumptions here because they're doing most of the code writing. Is it that they're calling login so there's a login, there's the post login, and then user 404. So I have a feeling it thinks that it's actually doing it, but this, whatever this auth service login, this part isn't taking place. But let's see if we can go find it. Okay, so it logs in if on mounted use auth is called. Okay, so that means there's a use auth. So that's where they export it. So see what I mean? How it thought that it was doing it. But if you go look throughout anywhere else, this use auth is never being used. So let's give this thing some insight. I see there is a use auth, but I don't see where it actually gets used as it would handle getting the bearer token generated. And so this is going to be part of those things where you're going to have to still have an idea on what on earth the AI is supposed to be achieving and how to debug it, because this whole time it keeps thinking that it's putting that token into local storage. And as y'all have seen, it's not. Uniqueness to web session now, device name. I don't know what that has to do with this, but using it's auth middleware instead of auth web. Okay, auth. Generate token, auth. Okay. Okay. Auth token initializer. Okay. So there's the youth auth. So it's added it. So when the template comes in and mounts, based on what this is saying, because it's got the clear auth, but there's the section here where it would do that for you, but the piece I sort of don't like or is this part, because that means it's got to get called during a different process, because you don't, you know what I mean, for security stuff. So we're gonna let this thing, okay, so it thinks it did the job. Sorry, I opened that other tab. So let's get windsurf closed. I'm going to see how it says test API. Generate token. Now we're back to the freaking 404 session auth. Okay. So it knows that we're here. But what I'm going to do, for the sake of testing, we're going to go back out just to figure out the order of operations. We're still getting those issues for token generate, but they're 401s at least. Do we have? I'm gonna close this just to be sure. Yes, close that. So if I say application, see, there's no local storage. Nothing there. Nothing in extended. So it still thinks that it's putting it there, but it's not. How many more dollars do we have left? Yeah, we got a little bit. So we might have to do a little intervention here, which we need to find when this whole auth login thing gets called. So let's look for use auth. It's in the part of the app shell auth. Authenticated. So app shell user not authenticated. Okay, but that might be use auth. But that's just checking if auth is authenticated. There's it. There's the export. I don't really care about that right now. And see, this is part of the issue, is it still thinks that it's using it. So let's see what it has to say. Be loading use auth. I never see .login called, as it would be what produces the local storage. we doing on the money? 369, 360. Only went through a few pennies then. Yeah. I'm waiting for it to give you some feedback because, like I said, if you go to use Auth login, does not get called. Where's that local storage reference? Did they take it out? Really? Now, come on, AI. Maybe it's going to try to solve its own problem. Because there was code originally about that would do the local storage, and it looks like it's removed that part of the code. So let's see here. Modified login to call after successful inertia login. A small delay in the session is probably set up adding proper error handling to the debugging. Okay. So, but now does that mean that this is going to work? So let's say if I go generate token, I refresh, even the test one. So no, log out. Let's log back in, because what they're saying is that when you go to log in, there's going to be another call to log in. There it is. API token status authenticated via token. So yeah. So it passes it in. So basically you log in, you get a response, then it produces the token, or places that token in local storage. So now if we were to go to application, you see here, we have API token and we have the user information. So we have it now. So now if we close this out, go to boards, what's going on there? We're getting some weird behaviors. So now it, see? So now the issue is it cleared it. And that's the thing, you can't just go generate it because that requires a password and stuff. So the thing is, so let's see here, get token. I didn't log out. See, that's the thing, is it thinks I logged out. And just replicate this, just make sure it wasn't some code that ran when we weren't expecting it. So it authenticated. What happened with the network calls? There's the post. Load that. There's a CRF cookie, which it went after. Then it got a token. So B1 to B1. Okay, so we're going to say that. But now we're going to clear that out. You're going to see if I go to boards, it wipes it away. It's not staying persisted. So let's see here. So yep, so it's still being done. And the thing is that technically if you're going to produce the token, you shouldn't, how's the best way to put this? If you're actually going to be generating a token, you don't necessarily need it to be a login, this whole concept here. Because if you already have a session in web to use the platform, that should get you access to this, which it does. But this part here about needing an email and a password shouldn't be needed, because this by itself should be getting the user from the session, not the request like this, to then do this step here where it would produce a token. That's how that really should be working. It shouldn't be requiring this as some call but we'll also have to address the fact that it clears it out. So, okay, so when I log in, it does generate the token. However, if I navigate to, for example, boards, I notice it no longer exists in the local storage on the browser. So what are you trying to build? So Sketch. So this is just going to be like a project management app. It's something I wanted to do to sort of test the waters of using Claude code, because I heard about it, hadn't used it yet, and so I decided that I would give Claude code a try. And to be honest with you, I've been fairly impressed with Claude code. I mean, it in terms of like UI stuff, like it's been hitting home runs. Like it really has. However, in this whole thing about the API layer, that it's sort of making some mistakes. We'll just put it that way. And its approach to it, I don't necessarily like. But part of this, I'm just trying to showcase what is possible with AI, because we're just sort of letting it decide things. Because I want to take what it does, and then I'm going to throw this on a public repository, so that way the world can see what AI generated code looks like. Because a lot of times what you hear about is, oh, it's junk, it's this, it's that. And just like any human's code, you can say the same thing about humans, but I want to show kind of what it's doing, and people can see the quality of the code that the AI wrote. So that's sort of the idea. And then maybe this project can get a little popularity or something, where people from the open source community are trying to contribute to what makes this a project management app that is vibe coded, just to kind of show the world kind of what's possible. Because I think if people collectively contribute to a project now using AI, I think we'd see a lot of the dogs. Probably see a lot of progress, a lot of stuff get done. So this thing's still trying to navigate. Yeah, we'll let you navigate it. What are we looking at on the money? We're down to $2. Once it hits 0, I'm in the stream. Once it hits 0, the stream is over, because I've been at it for, when did I go live? Hold up here. I could tell you here. Vibe coding. So I started, it says an hour ago. Now, to let you know, when I started, I had initially put $5 in. So to think in an hour, we've spent $30. $30 fucking dollars in tokens to build what we built so far, which to me is a little ridiculous. A magic moment. Congrats. Yeah, that was a magic moment. Because yesterday I launched my first desktop app, which is MCP Manager. So if you're big into the AI scene with MCP servers, the first desktop app I've ever built that will basically manage all those config files. Because if you're using Cursor, if you're using like multiple clients like Claude, Cursor, Windsurf, Klein, eventually those config files are going to become a pain in the butt to manage, especially if you have to change or add stuff amongst all the ones you use. So this is sort of a thing you can put on the desktop, define the server one time, and then you could deploy it to basically any of your clients. So a little self-plug there. So let's see what happens if we refresh. Yeah, of course that one would 401 because you don't have anything. Of course that's going to 401 because you don't have, well, they're given a browser name. Let's see something here. So if I go to application and we refresh, so there's nothing. So let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so we're authenticated. We have a token. And then the issue was if I go to boards, this would flush. And it flushed it again. So the mechanism that it's using to do it is bad because it shouldn't do that. The token is now generated once you log in. It remains available throughout the browsing session. I might restore it after a page. No, it's not invalidated. Watch this. Just tried it again. After login. Yes. There's a token. It works with the API layer. However, if I navigate to the boards page, again, the token is somehow being removed from local storage on the browser. But I still don't like its approach for generating the token. I don't. You already log into the app. You don't need to do a login again because that's going to mean another you sending the stuff. Because if you're authenticated against the session, not the API, that gives you access to the endpoint on the API, which should not require your email and your password. It should already have your user object from your browser session. So what's it doing here? So debug log with time. So it's just trying to log some shit to the console. Yeah. So there it gets it. There it gets its string, create event, dispatch event, custom event, PM user token. Okay. Navigate. Restore to local session. Okay. It thinks it's on its way. It's still doing some stuff. We'll give it a little bit. But now this has just been for fun. But to think, $30 in an hour. Of course, that's assuming that you would have been paying somebody. Whereas if you're a dev, you don't necessarily have to let AI write it because obviously you could write it yourself. You have the skills and the ability. But $30 an hour, $8 or 8 hours, $240 a day. I don't know, y'all. That's bananas. So I might let this get me to a starting point, and then maybe I could just pick up from there and solve all the problems that it had, and then progress. But I still am impressed with what it was able to produce, and there's some layout issues it's still having. But we're gonna log out because it said that it's done. Get us back in here. Password. Okay. Authenticated via token. Okay. It even mentions the token. Say if I generate the token. What if I test the API? Okay, what if I navigate away? Oh shit, it actually worked. Holy fuck, it solved its own problem. So check that out. So now we have the boards. Okay, so that's something I can worry about. But there are the boards. An AI assistant, we'll have to figure that part out. Now this whole dev 1 thing, and that's because there's not a dev 1. Like, see how it says dev 2. See, those aren't even going to be in the database. So now if I call this one dev 1, dev 1 development, is it going to work? Okay, so of course, remember, this part isn't actually pulling from the database. And odds are it wouldn't be dev 1, it would just be 1. Okay, so I know what that's about, but so far can't necessarily complain too much. What if we go into tasks? Oh wait, there's not task, it's tickets. So the tickets is working now too, sweet. So we'll have to have it address spacing, but all the stuff you see here, all these are all boilerplate. Those aren't actual records because I had it template things. So let's see what happens if I go back to the dashboard. We're going to go down here. Of course, this isn't buttoned up to AI, but I wonder if it has anything in there sort of, yeah. So if I, but to kind of show you the stuff, so you'd be able to chat with the AI, and the idea is the dashboard's going to end up becoming a thing to where you're going to stay within the dashboard to do everything. I mean, you'll have the ability to get to these sections, but the idea is that the PM, the user, whoever, is they're going to stay within essentially this AI portion. And that way they never have to leave. So the idea is to evolve the experience leveraging AI. How are we looking on money? Got a little bit to go. Okay. So we can tell it to, oh, and I want to see what these, if these are actually successful in the background. So we're going to say network. No, I didn't mean to click that. I meant to click network. Jesus, Jordan. So generate would indeed generate. Headers, yep. And then if I say test API, that's okay. Did it at least put a bearer? Yeah, so that one there's still no bearer token. But if I reload, we got everything. Okay, so we have those, we have that. Do these go back? Yes. Now was the board testing, test. Okay, so dev 84. So I'm going to click on this one. Or would it be, it's probably going to be dev singular. No. Interesting. PHP artisan, tinker. Yeah, I know what it would do. What was that model called? Board. App models board latest first. We'll see what it does. It's a waste of tokens, but no, I want you to freaking, you know, I'm just going to run this here. App models board latest first. And so that would be board. So it was just something that it put there. Is it boards or boards? Yeah, oh yeah. And then we're back to the whole prism thing. So board controller. Prism. Where is it hitting this? Oh, the AI assistant service. And it's supposed to be, I think it was prism, emphasize prism, I think is how it's supposed to be, the namespace. Hold up. Where is it? Text generation. Prism. 3 prisms. In a partridge in a pear tree. Where were we? Where's my thing? Here we go. Okay, so now it's squawking about provider. Prism. So, I mean, it got a little bit of it right, but it read some of the docs just a little off. There we go. I like that, but you see, it's well, okay. So this one it doesn't have it, but earlier in the mock-up, you could actually drag and drop between, and maybe that's just because that's still just a separate component. But that's the sort of like the UI it added. Of course, there's no functionality because we haven't even added those yet. But you can have subtasks. There's a description. Does the edit work? Of course not. AI suggestions, dependency alerts, or similar implemented access management. Time estimate base takes 3. Oh, it's gonna. Okay, we could probably do something like that. That'd be kind of cool. How are we looking on the money? Have we burned through it? Nope, only 10 pennies. Okay. So I have to work on getting my key in there, which I might save my tokens for doing the key. So how about we do this? It's been a little over an hour. I'm a little tired, but we made progress. But I am going to push this out to GitHub just to kind of show what the AI does, in case anybody's curious about the quality of the code and everything else that people allege or assume or whatever. But I do appreciate y'all being with me on the stream. Go get me some food. I'm hungry, a little tired, probably get some caffeine. But until next time, y'all take care.